Okay, hi everyone. I'm the philosophy bro genius for the purposes of this video, and I'm going to talk about the famous public intellectual and former member of the so-called IDW or intellectual dark web, Eric Weinstein, who is one of the few who I still often agree with. The others have gone fucking crazy, but anyway, I think he has some interesting points, and this is one of them. I'm very critical of the idea of IQ, and he is as well. So he's dismantling the idea of IQ to of IQ as a concept to Sam Harris here, the famous atheist intellectual who really is dumb about religion, of course. And he's telling him all about the flaws with IQ on this trigonometry podcast, this stupid anti-woke podcast where they never shut about it, how wokeness bad. Yeah, I get the point. Anyway, let's start the clip here.
What about IQ?
What about it?
I have heard that different groups have different IQs.
I've heard the same thing.
And Ashkenazi Jews, I have heard, have a higher IQ than the average.
You know, no offense to that. I think what you really want to say is there anything to Jewish genetics? And gosh, I would hope so. Because otherwise we don't know anything about genetics. Why can I spit in a tube and it tells me what my belief structure is and what language I pray on Friday night? It's, clearly it's both a genetic group and a belief structure that have co-traveled. But for IQ, I always find this really strange. IQ is just not that interesting in the upper reaches. So I'm totally up for believing that Jews have a genetic advantage, but I don't think that a few extra IQ points accounts for the level of creativity and the level of contribution. I think IQ is really powerful below 100. It's much less powerful above 100.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think he brought up an interesting point there. And this is a different criticism from what mine usually is, which is that, and I'm sure he doesn't seem to agree with all of this, but probably most of it, that IQ is just kind of a dumb concept because it's so culturally contingent. If you're an intelligent hunter-gatherer or farmer or someone who lives out in the country, then you won't do good in an IQ test, even if you're a genius in other ways. And also, the IQ test mostly specifically measures the type of mathematical and scientific, strict, rational, hard science brain as intelligent. It doesn't measure creativity as much, which is why his point is really interesting, because creativity cannot be accounted for by IQ. And of course, obviously, the genetic differences in IQs between different races relies on the concept that there's these things called races, and obviously the idea of race, in my opinion and many others' opinion, is a ridiculous concept too, because there's no such thing as an original race. White people haven't existed for most of human history. We were all evolved in Africa 5 million years ago, but it's not like we all were black people. People emerged of different colors really simultaneously throughout the world, and there's been so much race mixing and migration throughout human history that focusing on someone's skin color is just fucking stupid. And so measuring genetics based on someone's skin color is a flawed concept in general. But yeah, anyway, IQ is not a good way of measuring intelligence for other reasons, but also specifically for the reason he said, which is that the IQ doesn't account for creativity, and he's about to compare Ashkenazi Jews to other demographics with similarly IQs, and yeah, and he said it doesn't matter as much if it's lower. Wait, I'm gonna go back a second to what he said there. I think that was interesting.
This is sort of something that Nassim Taleb. I'm totally up for believing that Jews have a genetic advantage, but I don't think that a few extra IQ points accounts for the level of creativity and the level of contribution. I think IQ is really powerful below 100. It's much less powerful above 100.
Really powerful below 100. So does he mean? I think he means that if your IQ is below 100, which is considered below than average intelligence, then any IQ point, any extra IQ point, like if your IQ is 0, if your IQ is anywhere from 0 to 100, so 0, like if your IQ is 45, that's way better than an IQ of 0. But it's way more effective after 100, because I think after 100 or so is average intelligence, and then I think once you get to an IQ of 120 or so, if I remember correctly, that's when you're considered above average intelligence. But if I understand correctly, uh, like he's saying, as the as it goes up above 100, the each gain in an IQ point is more significant and means more, because like the higher up it gets, the more difference it makes. So, like a person with a 125 IQ is actually way more proportionally smarter than a person with a 124 IQ than uh than a person. Oh wait, no, other way around. So a person with a 125 IQ is not that much smarter than a 124, but a person with a 0 IQ is actually way dumber than a person with a 1 IQ. I think that's what he's saying.
This is sort of something that Nassim Taleb and I, have discussed. The fetish about the fact that it's measurable causes this real problem, because it's a nightmare indicator. It's good enough to suggest that something is very real, that can be tracked, that has a genetic component, but it's not.
Yeah, it might be real, but we don't know what this real thing is, and it could be a number of different real things, right? We could be talking about IQ, other ways of measuring intelligence. We could be talking about IQ, intelligence specifically, creativity. It sounds like culture has a large role to play in this, which he's about to get into more.
Not good enough to explain creativity. And I think that, for example, if I talk to my East Asian friends, a lot of them are confused, and they say things like, where does Jewish creativity come from? We also are supposed to have very high IQs.
I think that's a really good point too, because obviously, as I said, I've thought about many other valid criticisms of IQ before, but I haven't thought about that one, that similar groups with high IQs, some of them are more, by our traditional Western standards, more, financially or career-wise successful than other people. And and but then so it seems like Ashkenazi Jews on average are more successful in that way than West African people, in spite of the fact that West Africans as a demographic on average tend to have high IQs as well. So like he's saying, what accounts for one group to be more creative and successful and the other to not be as creative and successful, even if they both have uh, disproportionately high IQs?
And we're still in a leader follower mode. How is it that we get into this Jewish creativity mode? So I happen to think that because people are dissuaded from talking about IQ, because they're dissuaded from talking about genetics, they want to focus on IQ as if it is intelligence, which definitely is not. It's a component.
Agreed. Yeah, like he's saying, it's a component.
It's related to intelligence, but it isn't. And then you have this problem, which is that in some sense, what really matters is the creativity that co-travels, and how much of that is genetic, I don't know. But it's not a terrible thing to say that people are genetically different and that there are trade-offs.
I agree. It's not a terrible thing to say, like, in spite of the fact that I think that measuring genetic differences based on race is a dumb idea. I don't think that means, if you disagree with me about that, like, for example, the infamous Charles Murray, who wrote that book, The Bell Curve, that Sam Harris got infamous for defending when he had him on his podcast. A lot of people have called Charles Murray literally a white supremacist and a racist and all that shit. And I've read his book and seen him interviewed and stuff, and heard him interviewed by Sam Harris. And I think he's very wrong about IQ, but I don't think he doesn't seem to be a racist or a white supremacist. And my opinion. So yeah, I agree with him on that point too.
You know, the Jewish contribution to the National Basketball Association has been pretty meager.
Eric, do you
I
think?
blame anti-Semitism.
Rampant.
Yeah. Do you think
Okay.
it's?
Yeah, I'll stop it there. So yeah, like basically I agree with 99% of what Eric Weinstein says about IQ. I think that's a really good point. Basically, in a nutshell, he was saying that IQ measures something, but it's not actually intelligence. It's associated with intelligence, but we don't know what that actually is exactly. And, you know, this, oh, wait, I should keep sharing that because I have a blank screen right now otherwise. Just a sec. And yeah, we should keep oh yeah, so like the IQ measures, like I said, this specific oh haha, I'm on my own video now. That's funny. I'm fucking this up. Oh well. So anyway, yeah, so the IQ measures, like I was saying, the more like specifically mathematical type of intelligence, like mathematical and scientific intelligence. It doesn't measure creativity. It doesn't measure how successful someone is. It's culturally contingent, of course, and so you can be really intelligent but not in a scientifically or a mathematical way, and you can be labeled as dumb. You can still be labeled as dumb on an IQ test, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you actually are dumb, of course, obviously, right? And the creativity point is one that he focused on in particular. And yeah, like I said, I thought that was a good one because um, yeah, creativity doesn't necessarily have anything to do with it an intelligence unless you look at it as IQ. So it is kind of like a different type of intelligence, creativity. And people have talked about emotional intelligence before, for example, too. So there are different types of intelligence, and IQ does not measure it accurately. It's not an accurate measurement because it doesn't account for the success versus lack of success of different demographics who both have similarly disproportionately high IQs. So IQ is a dumb concept. It doesn't measure intelligence. It measures a portion of intelligence and something real, but we don't know how real it is, and we don't know what this real thing is. And it seems like whatever it is multifactorial. Some of it is due to culture, some of it is due to different types of intelligence, different aspects associated with intelligence, creativity, emotions, not just scientific and mathematical learning. All right, so yeah, I think I've said enough about that. I hope you liked this video with me commenting on Eric Weinstein's thoughts on IQ. And yeah, share this everywhere. Click that, smash the like button, molest it, make sweet love to it, elbow drop it, do whatever you want as long as you press it. And of course, check out my Patreon page. The link is in the description as always. And click that bell to be notified when I come out with new videos. I'm going to have another clip coming out tomorrow. Forget which one it is. Oh yeah, yeah. It's a clip from my video with my podcast with my friend, the woke centrist, aka Dusty, about the Quran and us comparing the figures of Jesus and Muhammad. So check that out too. It's coming out tomorrow. And yeah, all right. Thanks again, everyone. And until next time, I'm the Philosophy Bro Genius, and philosophy is awesome. All right. Adios. Until next time, everyone.